hello. Welcome back to another edition of the Big Apple School podcast, where the goal of this show is to help you learn English through listening. My name is Benjamin, and today we have two wonderful guests with us. Today we have...
Hello guys, I'm Ugur, and I'm from Istanbul, Turkey, and I have been living in Novosibirsk for 4 months, and this is my first time in Russia, so...
we have our first episode.
This is my first time.
So welcome to the show, and we have
you.
our well-known colleague.
My name's Гэri, and I'm from the United States.
Yes, so welcome back on the show, Gary. So today we have quite an interesting topic. Don't forget, guys, to leave your comments and ask questions. We'd love to hear from you guys. So today's topic is pests. So quite an interesting topic. This is a topic that is dear to my heart, that's close to my heart.
All right.
For some reason, in many of my lessons, we end up talking about pests. For some reason, it always comes up. So what we'll do is we'll talk about our different experiences with pests in different regions. Or I guess in Turkey, you have a lot of different insects, a lot of different wildlife. Let's just summarize what are the main pests that we know from our various regions. So what are the main pests that you encounter in Turkey?
In Turkey, mostly in Istanbul, we have all kinds of small insects like the mosquitoes, like the ticks and everything, like we all have around the world. Mm-hmm. And we also have like the big kind of insects, like we discussed mostly like big cockroaches, like worms. So these are the like main pests like we have in Turkey, in Istanbul,
And of course, Turkey is famous for its cats as well.
Mm-hmm.
Every tourist that goes to Turkey loves to play with the cats. So basically you have the mosquitoes, you have cockroaches, cats. Do you have foxes?
Yeah, we have wildlife. Mostly it's located in the southern part of Turkey and in the western part of Turkey. So we have foxes in their natural habitat, but not in the city centers or close to city centers.
Okay, so we'll discuss all these various animals in detail throughout this episode. So Gary,
Yes.
from Ohio.
Yes. Yes. To be more
What pests
specific.
do we have in Ohio?
Well, the usual routine pests, we've got cockroaches, we've got mosquitoes, we've got, all your favorites are represented. It's just the typical, really no different from Russia, for example. There's really the pests, I would say, are exactly the same.
Well, the reason why I'm asking is because in England, I've never really seen cockroaches. Maybe they do exist, but we just don't have them. But we have a lot of foxes in cities and...
Yes, right, yeah. Okay.
We'll talk about this in depth.
Didn't realize this was such a problem, but okay.
It's a huge... Well, obviously... Or do you have raccoons in Ohio?
We do have raccoons. Yes, we do.
And do you consider them to
Sometimes.
be pests?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll talk about them.
I mean, they're lovely creatures, but not where people are living. Yes.
Because I've watched a few Russian TV shows, namely Кто в доме хозяин, which is a show about people and their problems with pets. Not pests, but pets. And I've heard that raccoons are not native to Russia, but I've seen some people keep raccoons as pets, not as pests. So,
Okay.
any raccoons in Turkey?
No, we don't have.
Yeah, we don't have them in.
I wonder if they're New World. Are they New World?
Maybe. I mean, I
Creatures,
think it's from the Americas. I don't know if they're in
that's New
South
World.
America. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Well, as some of you may know, I spent my early childhood in Brazil, and there we had a whole I would say encyclopedia of animals,
Yeah.
of insects, and for better or for worse, we had everything there.
I would
From
suspect.
cockroaches to stick insects to lizards. I mean, I remember as a little child in my apartment, we had lizards that would just crawl up the walls. And this is not in the Amazon. This was in Sao Paulo, which is many, many thousands of miles away from
forest.
From the rainforest. So we had stick insects and all these strange animals. But anyway, what would you say is the absolute worst pest in your opinion? So yeah, my opinion, absolute worst. Well, I'm struggling to choose between rats and cockroaches. What would be the worst for you?
I would go for rats, I guess.
Yeah.
Rats are the most kind of disgusting animals, especially their tiny tails. So I would go for rats.
And what do you think of people who keep rats as pets? Well, not of people, but would you ever keep? Not of, because I'm sure there are some nice. I'm sure we have some nice.
Let's just
rat
get down
owners.
here to what do we think about people who keep rats as pets? I mean,
I've never witnessed any person who keeps rats as their pets, but I had a couple of neighbors back in Southeast Asia. Who were kind of into eating rats. So I would say rats are not kind of my kind of pet. So yeah.
Well, I was going to ask at the end of the show, I was going to talk about pests and food habits. So we're going to talk about that a bit later. But so
hold on to that,
Hold on to your
don't let that go.
Keep your appetite.
I'm sure we'll want to hear all about that.
Saturday lunch special kind of.
That's right. Lunchtime special.
Lunchtime special, yeah.
So yeah. But okay, so rats, I think, would you agree, Gary? What are your least favorite?
I would say rats are the nastiest, yeah.
Yeah, the nastiest. And have you been to a aquazoo center, a pet shop here in Novosibirsk? Because there are many around town.
I have not.
I have not.
Oh my God, guys, you guys are missing out. I've been to so many pet shops in Novosibirsk, and you can look at all these amazing little animals. It's like a little zoo in a little shop, and there are some fish. But if you go on the other side of the river, nearby Karl Marx Square, there's this great pet shop. I forgot the name of it, but they have so many different types of fish. And there's another pet shop around Oktyabrski Metro, which is not far from where we are here, and they have a great pet shop with snakes and all sorts of
exotics, kind of exotic animals.
Yeah. How would you define a pest? What makes something an animal? Well, let's just say, what would you consider to be a domesticated animal, an animal that you would keep at home, and what makes a pest? Because sometimes rats are pets and sometimes they're pests. What is the line? How would you define what a pest is?
Well, I guess a pest is something you don't want, right? So like if you want a rat, for example, and we're not going to talk about people who want rats because we decided earlier that we're not going to do that.
So what if you don't like your neighbor's dog? Yeah. Is the dog a pest?
The dog is being a pest. He's being a pest. But dogs are man's best friend, I believe. And an
interesting English point we have here, the English language point, we have being a pest. So to be a pest, being specifically. So the way we use this gerund is quite interesting. So for instance, the difference between you are stupid and you are being stupid. What's the difference between the two?
A fine line. Yes, right. Yes. They are related. They are connected. Yes.
They are connected. But you are stupid, present simple.
Yeah, no,
it just means you're stupid in general.
Right. You're being stupid right now.
It's specific,
Exactly. So right now. So being. So your dog can be being. Well, your dog is being a pest, or maybe.
But it's not a pest as a type of a creature. Right?
Yes.
Dogs are usually pretty good pets.
Well, let me ask you, so in Turkey, are cats considered pests by the locals?
Actually, no. So they are kind of domestic animals. People are kind of into them in a way. So they're kind of like man's best friend is dog. Yeah. In Turkey as well, cats are kind of best friends to people, mostly for lonely people.
Not so much dogs.
Yeah, not that much.
Yeah, some cultures.
I have a dog.
Oh yeah.
But most people prefer to have cats than dogs.
Yeah. Well, in some cultures, dogs are considered to be unclean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that some people wouldn't keep dogs because they,
Well, cats are clean. I mean, in that sense, they clean themselves, right? They
are licking the fur and everything and the paws and everything. Yeah.
Well, I have 2 pet rabbits. I don't know. Well, I think Aura knows about this. I have 2 pet rabbits. They are actually surprisingly some of the cleanest animals that you'll ever. I think they're even cleaner than cats. Their poo is brilliant. It's so easy to clean.
I think I'm really this enthusiasm that Ben has for this topic. I don't know. Well, he's defending those people that have rats. Did you notice that? He's
I'm
kind
not
of
defending.
on there.
I'm sorry, I'm not defending it.
All right, okay.
but I just don't want to be
picking up a pattern here, Ben.
I don't want to be too judgmental.
We'll be tracking this going forward. Right? We'll see if this grows into something out of control, perhaps, before.
But my enthusiasm for this comes from my experience in Las Vegas, where I lived in an apartment and unfortunately it had a cockroach problem.
Oh.
And I couldn't sleep at night because I was trying to figure out how to exterminate these pests, and it became almost a hobby of mine. Thinking of different ways.
Another point, we're not counting, but just connecting the dots here. I'm picking something up.
If everything fails in my life, I would love to become a pest exterminator.
Right, last resort.
It's the last resort.
Right.
But have you ever had a cockroach problem or a bug problem in any of your flats or houses?
Not cockroach or in a specific bug, but in summertime, most of the mosquitoes are kind of bothering me a lot. So not that cockroach specific thing. Yeah, it never happened.
And what measures would you take to prevent mosquitoes from getting into your house?
I usually try personal sprays to cover your body in order to just get rid of the mosquitoes out of your body.
Even at night, would you just spray yourself every night?
When I was living in Southeast Asia, I used to, but I haven't experienced the summertime in here yet. So
in Southeast Asia, you didn't have any like insect infestations in your house? Seriously, that's a surprise because it's a big problem, isn't it?
Most of the time, people are trying to get rid of the things out of their house by using traditional techniques in a way. Yeah. So they put some powder on the entrances of the houses, or they just set traps for the bigger animals, and then they're going to use that animals kind of for different purposes.
And this powder, by the way, it's quite interesting. So maybe Gary, you've heard about this in New York. You lived in New York for a little bit, didn't you?
I did.
Did you hear that in New York there was a specific type of, I think it was rat poison that was banned? Well, you've heard of this, or?
Yeah, I guess they were still using back in Southeast Asia to kill that kind of animals, but I didn't know that it was kind of banned.
It was banned in New York.
New York,
not because of New Yorkers love rats. I mean, everyone hates the street rats in New York, but because it is so powerful, and the local, I would guess the environmental authorities believe that rats could evolve to develop a resilience against this powder. So it was banned from New York, but people illegally bought this powder. Have you heard anything about this?
I did not have a cockroach problem in New York. I have had cockroach problems.
Oh, this is actually rat poison. Yeah, rat.
Okay, rat. Yeah, no, I definitely didn't have rats. I mean, if I had rats, I'd be changing addresses. Yeah, sudden change of address. Yeah. Because you just shouldn't have a house with rats in it. Bad choice. Some bad choices get you there. Yeah. No, but cockroaches I have had, but I was renting apartments, and the landlords don't want them either. But it's interesting that in Cleveland, in Ohio, which is like in the northern part of the country, we had a name for these. I didn't even know they were cockroaches. We called them water bugs.
Oh, right.
Yeah, water bugs.
So is that like a regional
I think
term?
It is, yeah. And in Florida, where my mother lives and where I have spent some time, They have a same insect, right? But it's called a palmetto bug.
Okay.
And palmetto is a kind of a palm tree. It's a variety of palm tree. And so it kind of has romance, palmetto bug. That's not a cockroach, man. That is a palmetto bug. It's
sophisticated name.
Yeah, right. It is. Yeah, I felt a lot better about it. But they're big, they're big honking things, and you got to get rid of them. So when I was in Ohio, then you just have the landlord. They just had to spray, and but until they did, or whatever, then you had to just battle with them.
So how would you personally battle with them? Did you have to buy?
Oh, geez, I don't even remember. Well, I didn't use chemicals. I would just when I saw them, I would deal with them, which I think I did with maybe like a fly swatter or a wet newspaper, or I don't know. I don't even remember what I did, except.
Or sticky fly paper or whatever.
Yeah, I didn't do that.
Oh, the sticky stuff is absolutely horrible. So another reason why I have this passion for pests is because when I lived in London, when I rented my first apartment in London, it had mice all over it. And usually people think of mice as being these adorable little creatures. They're not adorable. It's actually really creepy when you enter your kitchen at night and you've seen your bread nibbled at and other food. So I had to take it upon myself to try to do something about this.
And what did you do?
So the very first thing I did was I went to there was this kind of hardware shop below my apartment. It was actually not directly below, but that doesn't matter.
Oh, come on. We want to know how far is it from directly below.
Give me the exact direction.
Yeah. Or
this
even
shop
roughly.
had a wonderful
Within
range
10 meters.
of pest control products, including mousetraps, sticky glue traps.
Yeah, mousetraps.
Yeah, you just mentioned glue traps. And I bought a glue trap just thinking, I didn't really think about it. I just bought the glue traps and left them around. And then one night, I found these two mice screaming on this glue trap, and I thought this trap was supposed to kill the mice, not torture them.
I'm a monster. What
Traps them so that you can hear them, hear their pain.
I had this most horrible screaming in my kitchen at night, and you can't just throw the mice out.
And you throw your revolver and shot them.
Yeah.
Well, that would be if you were in New York. Well, not in New York. It would be in Texas. If you were in Texas,
I couldn't just peel the mouse off of the glue trap. You can't just do it because it was extremely strong, so they wouldn't.
But they're still alive.
They're still alive, and you don't want to kill them, but you have to.
So how did you?
Got out the old big encyclopedia.
Being a man of letters. First time he used the encyclopedia for anything. And 4 years in the apartment, first time to open that book, just to make sure there wasn't anything valuable inside, so he could throw it out when he.
And you killed it, and it's just a big.
Unfortunately, I had to, but it was a quick. Well,
it was a sudden death.
It wasn't.
It was merciful.
It was.
Okay,
exactly.
Ben. Well,
fair enough.
And then I thought about acquiring other traps. So I got a mouse trap as well, because those are supposed to be quick. They're not as quick as you think, but they're still pretty.
They do their job.
Yeah, they definitely hurt your fingers a lot
and break their necks.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So, well, not to talk too graphically about.
Well, pests are quite a graphic thing anyway.
Yes, they are.
So so mice, and then eventually I tried to use more natural approaches. So I got bay leaves. You know bay leaves?
Bay leaves. Now that is natural.
Bay leaves, it's a type of leaf that you use in cooking. And I heard that these mice hate bay leaves. By the way, I think, was it Lavrovi list? I think it is in Russian. But they, so I heard that these would deter mice. But there was this infamous hole in my house where mice would peep out of, and I'd put about 5 leaves next to this hole, and at night time I would just quietly.
Ben,
just
did
watch
you
the
ever
hole
think
and-
of closing the hole?
Yes, we did eventually. Yeah, I did close the hole eventually.
After 3 months, we decided,
But these mice would just dig through the holes, and of all this information about bay leaves on the internet, they did absolutely nothing.
They didn't work. Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe the mice even ate the leaves.
Yeah, they kind of enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, so what made it even worse? Well, I said before there was a hardware shop not quite directly below my apartment.
Good to know
And
that.
we never
Not
did.
quite-
We
not
never
quite-
did find out
But
exactly.
what was directly below my apartment was a Chinese restaurant.
Oh no! Oh
No.
well, that should solve a lot of problems for you. We've got your solution to all the problems of every kind. Don't even worry about it.
Yes, and they had this vent which well, the restaurant had this vent which would expel all the gases and waste gases from from the restaurant. And guess what? You open my window and they would come through my window
Okay.
into the apartment. And I think the mice loved this. They absolutely adored it. But did you know that mice and rats can't live together?
I did not know that.
not know that.
Yeah, they don't like each other. Well, I think the rats just eat the mice. So I think maybe the rats like
a
them.
snack.
Yeah, the mice. Yeah. Right, the mice don't feel so bad about it until.
Yeah. So at least I didn't have a rat problem. So if you have a mouse or a mice problem, by the way, mouse and mice, plural in English. So if you have a mice problem in your flat, at least you know you probably most likely don't have a rat problem, which is. What would you
Comforting.
rather?
I would call that
somewhat
comforting.
So,
Somewhat comforting.
Mice or rats, if you had to choose in your apartment.
Mice.
Yeah, mice.
Mice.
Mice, yeah.
Definitely
yeah.
mice, yeah. But what problems do mice, well, what are the problems that mice cause? Why do we not like mice? And rats, yeah, what problems do they cause?
Well, they destroy things. They eat your food, as you've already mentioned. They
Yep.
nibble on your bread.
Yep.
You leave a couple slices of bread out on the table like you do, and
Tiny pieces.
Yeah.
Or your books.
Yeah.
They can also just
Yes.
eat the paper. You know?
Yes, and even my rabbits sometimes do this, yeah. So sometimes they are pests as well. Well, actually, some people consider maybe rabbits, but definitely hares to be pests. So rabbits and hares. Have you had any hares in Turkey?
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
We have.
Do you guys eat them?
Yes.
Yeah. Tasty?
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
you've eaten hare? Hare?
Hare, yeah. Yes, it's good.
Hare for you
Hare, rabbit
at home.
or hare,
Yes,
yeah.
hare is the rabbit-like animal. But
Yeah.
do you eat rabbits?
Yes.
Yes.
We have.
Come to my apartment for dinner soon, aren't you?
All right.
Now I'm getting worried.
Soon.
Yes. now is getting enthusiastic. And
Mouth watering. Right?
yes, that probably are normal. Yes,
Yeah.
just saying. Yeah.
But yeah. Well, are there any pests that you would eat in Ohio?
Oh no. I mean, no.
Did you
I mean,
ever eat-
well, I mean, if you call rabbits, people do eat rabbit.
Yeah.
Not overly much, but yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody.
Well, actually, I was going to talk about food a bit later, so maybe
Yeah.
we should hold off on that.
Mhm.
I've got a question here. So in England, this is an interesting issue, which was a very hot topic, I think, about 10 years ago. So do you know anything about fox hunting in the UK? Or fox hunting in general?
I just know it's a thing, right? It's a sport. It's a
I know the fur is kind of a special.
Yeah, it's like
kind
a
of thing.
special fur. So this was a really controversial topic in the UK because as many people, or many listeners might know, in the UK we had this, well, we still illegally have this tradition of getting dressed up in red suits,
Really?
getting the local village together and getting all our dogs together and chasing a fox. and
Is this something that ordinary people do, or is this like an upper?
or
do you know what?
aristocratic upper
Originally,
class
it was
thing?
quite an aristocratic thing to do, but a lot of not so aristocratic people enjoyed the tradition of it, and they enjoyed getting dressed up and getting on a horse.
Who doesn't enjoy getting dressed up in a red suit?
And of course, you have animal rights activists who, of course, are absolutely outraged by it. And then you have people who still engage in fox hunting. They say, oh, it's a local tradition. It's been going on for hundreds of years. And a lot of people who go fox hunting say, well, the foxes have to be killed anyway because they cause so much damage to farms and sometimes spread disease. And that actually using a shotgun is actually sometimes worse than using dogs, because the dogs go straight for the neck and they kill the animal immediately. Well, not immediately. It's horrible. They have to. It is a tradition. It's a British tradition. I mean,
it's okay if you get if you put on the red suit. It all makes sense.
But if you shoot a fox, it's going. Quite often they don't die immediately. It takes a while for them to go. So whereas if you use the dogs, use the dogs, they go for the neck, and sure, it's a horrible sight, but
bloodbath in a way.
Yeah. Do you have any similar kind of traditions in Turkey? Well, is hunting a thing in Turkey?
The regular game, like all the birds and rabbits, so it's all allowed. And of course, the animal rights kind of organizations are kind of against for that, but apparently no one cares for it. It's going on, So the game is going on, and they're hunting.
Yeah, and was there any kind of? Well,
yeah, there was. I mean, there was no foxes, but I don't even think that there are.
Is it an American raccoon hunt?
No, you don't hunt raccoons like that. Although actually, people do hunt raccoons. They're nocturnal, and so you have to. You go out and you do go coon hunting, as we say.
Yeah,
down in southern Ohio.
Yeah.
And by the way, a shout out to our many listeners in Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, yes, hello.
Yes, right, those mystery listeners.
Yes.
But no, there's a deer season. I had my church was in the country.
Yeah.
And so country people, and it was for real that there was deer season. And the beginning of deer season was a big deal. Mm-hmm. And, it's a limited time, and you have to buy a license, and you can only kill so many of them. And, but it's sport.
Because deer can be considered to be pests.
Deer are extremely dangerous. I mean, they kill.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, just by crossing roadways. And, by the time you even see them, they freak out when there's a car coming.
Yeah.
They're jumping.
And they jump onto the car, onto the windshield, and they're gigantic animals.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah. And
they're not little rodent.
Does
people.
car insurance? Well, can a lot of car insurance policies in America protect against?
I think
deer?
it's considered it would be a thing that's covered. But it's also just. I mean, it kills people because you're going at. It's on highways and remote areas, and so you're going at 50 miles an hour. 80, 85 kilometers an hour, and this giant deer jumps from from 2 meters off the side of the road onto your car.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to have time to react.
It's even worse when the deer doesn't have insurance.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. And then you have to just pay for it yourself. Yeah. That's right. So many uninsured deer. That's a major problem. We're trying to work it out.
Yes, in London, actually, Richmond Park, which is, I think it's the biggest park in London, southwest London. There we have a lot of deer, which is really... They're actually really beautiful, and they're kind of desensitized to people. So you can actually go... The deer sometimes even come up to you, which is really interesting.
You can pet them.
It's so strange. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a deer come up to me and started licking me. And I thought deer were supposed to be scared of people. And but I think the reason why they lick you is because they want salt. I think that's why. Yeah, that's what I've heard.
It's really not affection. Yeah, they want your salt.
Yeah, that's what I heard. That's what someone
This guy
told
looks like a salty. He looks like a salty human.
Exactly, because they need the salt. But it was the sweetest thing, and I thought, I love venison. It's really nice meat, but I can't eat this deer anymore because it's such a nice animal. Yeah. and you have to be particularly careful if you have big dogs in Richmond Park. I've never had a big dog, but I had a friend who had a German pointer. Have you heard of this dog before? Beautiful dog, really intelligent. They're pretty big. They're not the biggest, but they're pretty big dogs. And it's a hunting dog. And my brother's friend took this dog out to the park at night, and he just left the dog off the leash and it killed a deer.
Oh dear.
Yeah, oh dear, exactly. Yeah.
I would imagine
And
that would
it
be
was-
like a legal situation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why it's difficult. And well, coming to the next point is, I guess you could kill cockroaches. You wouldn't have too much of a problem killing
No
cockroaches.
problems.
No problems.
No
yeah.
problem. Yeah.
What kind of animal is more difficult to kill? What kind of pest is more difficult?
Well, anything
to
that's bigger than you are, for example,
kill? Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's the size. Yeah.
The size matters. Right?
Yeah. Well, what about pigeons, for instance? Because let's say if you have pigeons in your, pigeons destroy your car with their white.
Slingshot, maybe.
Slingshot the pigeon.
Maybe, why not?
Yeah.
Well, I think pigeons, you just live with them. If you're living in the city, you just live with them. You know?
Yeah,
I
because
mean, they're a
pigeons are
pain
considered
everywhere.
to be pests.
They are
But
pests,
a lot of people love pigeons, especially, if you go to the central market here in Novosibirsk, you'll notice next to, there's a Zaporozhets, which is a little red car, which is a vintage car. Have you seen this car? It's next to the
No.
market. Well, next to the Zaporozhets, there are loads of pigeons and old ladies who like to feed the pigeons. Yeah, I have never seen the attraction of feeding pigeons. Why do people feed pigeons?
I don't know.
I don't know. But it's also famous in Turkey. So
yeah.
we have specific places around the mosques. So
Yeah.
people are just throwing seeds
Yeah.
for the pigeons, and they love feeding pigeons. But I don't see any point to do that. So
Yeah, what?
what is that? You know?
Yeah, because they are flying rats.
Yeah. In a way, yeah.
And they carry a lot of disease and
Yeah.
stuff. And
Yeah, they're nasty, but I think it's just if you're lonely, I guess, or something, and you want to have.
I understand
Want to
feeding the
have something-
ducks because the ducks are sweet animals and they're nice. I understand like going to a pond and feeding the ducks or maybe the geese, but
Yeah, but they're
Swan.
not. They're not everywhere.
swans. Or swans. Yeah, we have them all over England. Do you have them in Turkey?
Not that many, but in the, like zoos or that kind of
Yeah.
reservation area.
What about Ohio? Do you have?
Swans, not so much. I mean, there's probably geese, there's ducks, to some degree, but
Yeah. Because swans in England, did you know? Interesting fact: all swans are property of the
There's
Queen.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, you heard
that.
it too.
Yeah, I heard
yeah.
that, yeah.
So you can't. You can never, ever kill a swan in England because then the
well,
Queen's
that
gonna-
explains why there's so many swans in England.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know when this.
Bada bing, bada bing. Yeah, right.
I don't know when this became a law. When the Queen decided, maybe it wasn't the Queen, maybe it was well before the Queen, but someone in the royal family
I
decided.
mean, they're beautiful creatures, right?
Yeah, but why not
they're
geese too? Why not?
Have you ever dealt with geese?
Oh yes.
Geese
Yes.
are nasty.
They are nasty customers. Yeah.
Yeah.
They are not. Yeah, but they actually hiss as well, which is the funniest. Has a geese ever hissed at you?
Yeah, I remember
goose,
when I was a child, so they were kind of chasing like hysterically kind of thing. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
And they
I know.
stick their tongue out
Yeah.
at you. And I would go as far to say that sometimes they are pests, but they are borderline pests because of they're beautiful, and some people some people eat them. Well, a lot of people eat them in, I think, France, Italy, etc. Not so much in England.
Well, wasn't that a traditional like Christmas
It
goose?
was, yeah, Christmas
That
goose.
was like the.
Yeah, I think we had another podcast episode at some point where we talked about, maybe I was on it, maybe I wasn't, but I've definitely talked about goose on, at some kind of Big Apple school function. We've talked about goose for Christmas.
Yes. Anytime we get together, we're talking sooner or later.
We're
going to talk
geese
about
chase
geese.
you, and they can actually be really dangerous. And did you know that swans can like break your arm?
Because they're kind of bigger than ducks and this kind of heavy animals.
Yeah,
in
their
a way.
necks are exceptionally strong, and they can
long necks.
So if you have little children or a little dog, be careful around the swans. Yeah, but seriously, I used to live in a park in nearby a park in London, and there was a pond, and swans everywhere. And when I was like a little teenager, we would like walk around and play around with the geese, and they would chase you and. You have to be really careful
with that.
Yeah, because they can,
hurt you, you know.
Inflict damage. So well, what else I was going to talk about? Yeah, foxes. So coming back to foxes, we already talked about fox hunting. So in London, we have a lot of these foxes.
Just roaming
roaming at night. It's absolutely amazing. At night, they just roam the cities, and
I can't imagine
they
that.
make exceptionally scary noises at night. When they're trying to
like screaming
screaming noise in the middle of the night. This is a way of attracting attracting each other. I just don't understand how this noise attracts I think it's the female foxes that make the
hopefully
noise.
Of course today, who knows. That's right. It's a confused time.
It's not
foxes, they'll just attract anything.
Yes, and they do
Doesn't
make very
even matter.
loud noises at night, and there's and it's actually surprisingly difficult to sleep.
I mean, this actually
all
heard
the time,
them?
all the time. Yeah, and it's actually really surprising if you spend a few nights in suburban London or just outside the very center of a city. You will definitely, at some point, if you stay there for a week, almost definitely you will hear a fox at some point. And sometimes at daytime, you see them roaming around the streets like little zombies.
Interesting. So what about the authorities? Do they do any kind of...
There's not much they can do. Much they can do because the foxes are very clever and they hide.
They can hide in...
They're called burrows. Yeah, so burrows. They cause a lot of problems. But at least I think they eat rats. I don't know. But
okay, well that's a plus.
Yeah, which is definitely a plus. All right, what else I was going to say? Seagulls.
Seagulls.
We have lots of in Istanbul.
Yes.
Yeah. And people are kind of into, like, they're feeding them when they're on the ferry, and they just throw kind of small bread. So it's kind of a specific thing for Istanbul to do when you just get on the ferry.
So people feed the seagulls. Yeah, look, because we don't feed the seagulls in England. They feed themselves with our food. Yeah, I remember when I was a little boy, went to, I think it was Brighton. I can't remember where it was. Brighton's on the south coast of England, and I had a hot dog. And actually, no, it wasn't Brighton. It was Brighton Beach in New York.
Oh, Brighton Beach in New York.
It was
Okay.
Brighton Beach in New York,
Different
not England.
continent.
Sorry, different continent.
Yes.
No, it was Brighton Beach, yeah.
Okay,
Sorry, it
Brighton
was.
Beach. Yeah, well, Brighton Beach would have... seagulls are everywhere.
Yeah, and I was a little boy really happy with this was it a hot dog or ice cream? I can't remember, but I just remember I was really happy with this meal, so ready to get started, and out of nowhere, the seagull came
And catch your food?
Yeah, it it absolutely swooped it out of my hand. And
Wow.
Oh, my.
Well, it's those famous Coney Island dogs, hot dogs. They've heard the talk, they've heard the rep, and they want to. We're going to check this out. This child looks a little like he's a little spaced out.
Okay, so seagulls, they're not particularly nice. It's illegal to, some reason it's illegal to control them in England, so you can't kill them in England even if they're causing a lot of problems for you. So I don't think they are, because in England the law is interesting. You're allowed to, of course, kill a cockroach, even though they don't really exist. But you're allowed to kill rats, I think, in your house if you have mice or rats.
Well, that's nice of them to allow you to do that.
But you can't kill pigeons and seagulls, although you used to. Also, another interesting animal. Well, there's two I was going to mention. Ticks.
ticks.
Yeah, summertime.
Well, definitely
kind of thing
here
mostly,
in Siberia, they're very, very big issue, and people take out insurance specifically for ticks. Do you have this problem in Turkey?
Yeah, especially in summertime, we have the problem mostly in the kind of rural areas. So people are suffering a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The ticks, but I don't remember any kind of insurance policy for covering the ticks.
Because the diseases they cause are absolutely debilitating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so serious.
Yeah. Well, in England we have Lyme disease. Lyme.
Yeah, that's in the United States.
It's in the States as well.
it's-
So, do you know anyone who's had Lyme disease?
I have heard people on podcasts talk about Lyme disease that have had it, and it's very serious. And it's, really spreading. It's really increasing.
Yeah.
I don't think it was in the United States in like the 50s maybe, and then it is like an invasive.
So it started in the 50s.
I believe, I don't think it was a
around
thing until a
beforehand.
certain point. Of course, I don't think they had diagnosed it maybe.
Because I heard somewhere that, I mean, obviously this is
I
a
think-
conspiracy theory, but that it was a bioweapon developed by the Japanese in
Oh,
the
wow.
Second World War.
All right.
I heard that somewhere. I can't remember, but
Okay, Ben.
it would
well,
make
that-
sense in the if it appeared in the 50s in America. It would make
Right.
sense.
I don't know. I think that it's not a historical. What happens with Lyme disease? It's all of these diseases are communicated by animals to humans when they're too close.
Mm-hmm.
And like one of the ways that Lyme disease, of course, it's from the ticks. I guess it's from deer,
Yeah.
right? The deer have the ticks, and then smaller creatures get it from the. And then they get into your house, like squirrels that get into your house and things like that. Yeah. So anyway, it's a big problem, and here it's encephalitis.
Yeah.
That's the.
What's the difference? Is there a difference between Lyme disease and encephalitis?
I mean, encephalitis, I think, is is more of a clearly it like. And your cephala is your brain. It's like an inflammation of the brain. And Lyme disease is harder to diagnose, and it's longer term, and it's not. I mean, it's a bad thing as well. But it's just whatever probably the deer or whoever, there's a carrier. They call it a vector, right?
Yeah.
And so there's some creatures carrying it, and then other creature eats it, and then or gets it, and then carries it to humans, and
transmitted.
it gets transmitted.
So it's not a nice one. Other animal I was going to mention were hornets. I think in Turkey you must have hornets, don't you? Yeah, because I remember kind of a funny story. Not really that funny, but it was kind of funny. We went on holiday to Greece, my family, many years ago, and we rented this this pretty small little house, or villa as you call it, in Greece, and it had a really nice small swimming pool, and there was a stone wall next to the swimming pool, and it had a hornet's nest behind the stone wall. And we went to this villa, so me, my brother, and we had some friends with us who were our age, and we were playing with.
Oh my!
We decided to agitate the hornet's
good
nest.
choice.
With the stick or
Yeah,
something?
yeah, with the stick, and then we would dive in the pool, and all the hornets would swarm around, and we'd hide from it. It was, for some reason,
Bad choice.
There's a whole series of bad choices there. Yeah, let's stir them up, and then we're going to go in the water. Right. What do you say, guys? And the guy said, man, I'm in. Let's do it.
Let's pretend invisible.
That's right. We'll be here in the water.
I'm not gonna lie, as a teenage boy, it was a really fun, stupid but fun activity. And
I would agree on both counts. Yes. I'd even take the fun away and just stay, but hang on to that stupid part.
And so we would do it, and then the hornets would come out, and then they would retreat after 2 minutes, and we would get our adrenaline rush. It was really fun, and we did it again a few times. And my brother,
And then the pain came.
and then we got a little slow getting in the water that fourth time.
So yes, you're right. So yeah, my brother's friend was a little slow, and he got stung on his eyelid.
Oh,
Oh.
And luckily it wasn't his eye, but it was his eyelid, and he had
like this bubble.
Yeah, this huge bubble on the side of his face for a whole 2 weeks. And luckily it was okay, but and really luckily he was okay.
Yeah,
but
really.
I'm not gonna lie, it was funny watching him walk around with this huge
Poppy eye.
like it serves you right for this for messing around.
For hanging around with us. Yeah. You're a dumb little kid. Right.
Oh, it was brilliant. And the funniest thing was this was in Corfu, so in Greece. A great place, by the way. And obviously my mum was really worried about my brother's friend, and she took him to the doctor. And this doctor was the only doctor around in the area.
Yes.
And we went to this doctor's office, and it did not look like a doctor's office. It was just like this like really weird room, this kind of sketchy looking place. And and my mum,
But it said right above it, doctor.
yeah, it said and this doctor was just like, yeah, he was this like kind of macho Greek dude. He was quite fun, but it was. and my mum, obviously she cared a lot. This was not her kid, and this kid was in her custody, and she didn't want to see anything bad happen to him. And she said she was really worried, and in her kind of, I wouldn't say panic, but in her worried, concerned state of mind, she asked the doctor, well, this doesn't look like a doctor's. Do you have a doctor's license?
Oh my! Best thing.
I think it was. Yeah, in hindsight, it was probably one of the worst things to do. But I understand why she did it, because it was this dodgy-looking doctor, and this, being this macho guy, he. He said, "Get out of here! You're not allowed to get out of my studio." And my mum,
Can't you see this is a doctor's studio?
get out of my clinic.
He's sitting there making oil paintings and,
Production over there.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't even call it a clinic. It was just like some damp room with a fan.
It was a fan. That was.
And so luckily he gave in and felt bad for my brother's friend. And he gave him some kind of a
showing
shot.
that he's a real doctor.
Yeah.
At least that much. Right.
Yeah, no, I understand why my mother was concerned and everything,
mercy
but not.
gracious.
Yeah, like in hindsight, don't ask macho Greek doctor for his license.
Yeah. Let's see that diploma. Your walls are looking a little bare here.
Yeah.
Doctor so and so.
Yeah, I understand why she did it. But anyway, it was.
Yes.
But so hornets are pretty big pests, and I don't know how do you deal with them in Turkey, because Greece and Turkey are not far from each other. I guess you had. Did you have them in Istanbul?
Istanbul and in the western coast. On the western coast of Turkey, like where the holiday resorts are.
Yeah.
So we have the same problem like in Greece.
Yeah.
So when you're swimming, suddenly a hornet may come and just sting you in a way. So
and
that's normal.
Was it like a local's hobby to mess with the nests and jump?
No. No, not. No, it's kind of dangerous,
It is kind of.
It's kind of dangerous,
Yeah, because hornets are big.
Big like this.
Yeah, and bees can like cause problems, but hornets are just a whole other level.
Level of destruction.
And do you have wasps in Turkey, or is it just hornets and bees?
No wasps, no.
Yeah, we have wasps.
Yeah. Did you have
everywhere.
any in your childhood, or?
I mean, they were around. I mean, they were scary. They're bigger. Not so many hornets. Hornets that I'm used to are small.
Oh right, because I always thought hornets were big. Yeah, big.
They're fat, kind
They're
of.
huge.
Okay, maybe I'm not. Maybe I don't know what I'm looking at. But wasps are big. You got a big segmented body. And they're scary. And but you can see their nests. They nest on this. They make these nests on the surface of things, wood, whatever. And so you can see that, and you have to. You can deal with them kind of. I haven't ever done it, but you can do it.
Well, bees obviously make honey, and they're very useful animals. They're very nice animals in general, unless you mess with them. Wasps. Why do they exist? Why do hornets and mosquitoes and all these little animals, these insects exist?
Well,
What purpose do they serve? Well, I guess they feed some kind of animal, but what animal eats wasps?
I'm sure what birds eat them, or whatever. Yeah, I mean,
Or their eggs. I don't know.
Oh,
Like
right.
the fish maybe eat their eggs
Maybe.
on the surface
I mean,
of
they're
the water.
they're not at the top of the food chain. I mean,
No.
they're getting eaten by something. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. This gigantic wasp. That's right. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can't really imagine a bird trying to eat a wasp and then its face getting all inflamed like my brother's friend.
Well, I mean, I don't know who else. Somebody's got to be doing it, because otherwise,
Yeah, supply and demand. There's got to be a...
yeah, there's got to be somebody there to eat them.
All right. Well, speaking of eating, to wrap up the
Nice
show.
transition.
Yeah.
Smooth.
Speaking of eating,
Yes.
if you had to choose one pest to eat, what would it be? So, what's your pest?
Now's the time for your story.
Yeah, this is like lunchtime extravaganza.
That's right. Right. The mention of it earlier was the appetizer.
Yeah.
Now is the main course.
So actually, I've tried a couple of pests like cockroaches
Nice.
or kind of coconut worms, like the fried ones
Yeah.
in Southeast
Vietnam,
Asia,
yeah.
in Vietnam and Thailand. So
Did you try rat?
no. Rat was kind of it's kind of disgusting.
It's so weird. Yeah, I saw a video,
But
yeah.
I tried caiman, like alligator, kind of.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice. Was it like chicken?
Yes, it's like chicken.
That's what I've
It's
heard,
better than chicken. The meat is so
nice.
tender, So
Nice.
I tried twice. That was okay.
Oh, and what were the cockroaches like?
You know what? Cockroach. Think about the cockroach like very, very salty potato crisp.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's full of flavor in a way. You just have a bite, you crunch it.
Yeah.
And
Yes, you can imagine.
so yeah,
the
that
wonderful
was all right.
crunch.
So it was a kind of a daily item as included
And
there.
it's salty.
It's salty. Yeah, it's salty.
Yeah.
So they serve the cockroaches and the coconut worms like fried in deep oil, and
Yeah.
it's a kind of appetizer you start before your main lunch or main dinner.
Yeah.
So you just go ahead and you eat them as quick
Crunch,
as
crunch,
possible.
crunch, crunch.
As quick as possible, and then
To get rid of them. Yeah, right.
yeah,
Take
you
these away.
eat them as quick as possible, and then you start your main course. That was kind of thing. So
Because I was absolutely traumatized by cockroaches having lived in Vegas and Brazil, and I just can't ever imagine eating them. Was it a specific type of cockroach?
I mean, they're big, right?
they are big, yeah. Like, they're like this big. So if you like, you can remove what do you call?
I guess the wings, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well,
Are they
like
wings?
the exoskeleton, yeah.
Yeah, kind
Yeah.
of. Some people prefer to just lick them in a way. So I'm just being disgusting. I'm so sorry.
That's
I mean,
all right.
But it's mainly consumed like with one bite. That's
After
it.
seeing, because when I lived in Vegas, I had a toilet, and it was horrible because these cockroaches would literally like come out of the toilet.
Oh, okay.
And
Well,
they're
this really is a special episode of the.
hearing people eat cockroaches, I just
I just tried it. That's it. So I
See,
like it. I don't know
Ben,
why.
you had them coming in
it was
at
hot.
lunchtime
Yeah.
and dinner time. All the
worst-
time.
when I first moved into the apartment in Vegas, I couldn't really see any cockroaches, and then my neighbors moved out of their apartment,
All right.
and all of a sudden these cockroaches, they must have been disturbed by moving furniture or something, and they started coming into my apartment, and it was literally like biblical proportions.
Oh,
of these-
dear.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was absolutely horrible, and
Wow.
and I just
Did you have a
took every-
landlord? I mean, what?
Yes, I did, and obviously I demanded that they sort out the issue, but I couldn't just cancel my rental agreement because that would incur fees. Not just fees, like you'd have to pay like the remaining 6 months of the contract.
Oh,
and that's
my
just kind
goodness.
of outrageous, and
Yeah,
I
that's
wasn't
not-
going to do that. And so cockroaches.
Yeah, not that bad.
Yeah.
not that bad.
Well, I guess if you breed them and you keep them in a cage, not a cage, sorry, an aquarium or whatever.
Yeah, they were kind of producing them into the farm-like thing. So it's kind of kind of mass production results in a way. So and they sell it to the restaurants.
Yeah.
So
because if you go to the pet shops here in Novosibirsk, you will see them. Cause people have pet snakes. Some people have snakes. Or other people, I think it's snakes that eat them.
Snakes, yeah. By the way, snakes are tasty too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you must have tried them.
Yeah.
Like,
I tried king cobra.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Did you try the vodka with the snake in it?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yes. In Mekong Delta in Saigon. Yeah.
And is the snake still alive?
Recently deceased, we can say.
as we say in the kitchen business.
Yeah, recently deceased.
In the restaurant business.
Yeah, you can smell that foley kind of smell that animal flesh while you're drinking it.
In
So.
Japan,
in
Japan, a lot of people eat animals alive, which is kind of
okay.
I never tried
you
that.
didn't try
ever.
that, yeah. Fair enough.
It's cooked at least. Yeah.
All right, so cockroaches. All right, very brave of you. What would you eat?
Yeah.
I would, with reluctance, probably go cockroaches, but I'm not really. And
fan of it.
Ur's description is not is not increasing my desire for this. Yeah.
All right. Well, if I have to eat a pest, I'm going to eat a deer.
Deer's
That's the
fine,
easy
but
option, or a pigeon or something. Maybe not a street pigeon, but yeah. All right, guys. Well, we're interested to hear what you want to eat. Let us know which pest you would choose to eat and why. And if you've had any pest adventures, we also want to hear about your pest adventures. So be sure to subscribe to our channel. Follow us on our social media platforms, including vk.com and Telegram, etc. Or visit our website, bigappleSchool.com, where we have a wide range of articles and other podcast shows like this one. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you very much for participating, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Thank you.